Welcome to Coach Business, the podcast. I'm your host, Caryn Gillen, and today we have an interview. And this is a story that I couldn't not tell alongside of Caryn, and she's here to share her real kind of transformation and growth journey over the last 6 months, year, 18 months. So, Caryn, will you do us a favor and just introduce yourself to us in your words and tell us who you work with?
Sure. So I am a leadership coach, and we'll get into in a little bit. I was doing weight loss coaching, but I was an
Mhm.
executive for over 25 years in a corporate environment. And so now specifically, I help women who have been recently promoted or who are changing jobs. And really, that first 6 months of when they're transitioning, that's my sweet spot. And that's who I
Mhm.
love to work with.
Yeah. So you're just a total boss supporting total bosses.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Before we dive in, something we were talking about before we hit record was you're getting all this feedback about how you're showing up on LinkedIn. And I would love for you to share what's happening there because I get a lot of questions from people about like, is LinkedIn different? I don't really get how LinkedIn works. I'm afraid of it. It's too corporate. I would just love to hear your experience with it.
Yes. So LinkedIn, um, I think I do need to say that I like social media
Okay.
generally,
Right. Not
and
everyone does.
not everyone does. And so I've been very present on Instagram and Facebook for years just because
Hmm.
I liked it and it was fun. So when I started using LinkedIn, I mean, I've always been on LinkedIn, but wasn't particularly active. But because my ideal target and
Hmm.
ideal client is on LinkedIn, that's where I spend all my time now.
Hmm.
And um, what's actually been really interesting is that I took everything that I'd learned in really Instagram and I just applied it to LinkedIn. And so I'm
Oh.
just showing up naturally as I would. And I haven't really thought specifically about changing my strategy. I just try to show up and add value
Hmm.
5 days a week. And
You hear that?
um,
She goes to work.
I do. I and
Yeah.
I keep a track of, one day it's a newsletter, one day it's promoting my podcast, one day it's making an offer, one day I try to make it personal also. I add in pictures of me and my kids or my husband or my parents or my cat or something.
Hmm.
Um, but I just show up consistently, and every single time I try to add a little bit of value with a point
Yeah.
of view.
Hmm.
Um, and it seems to be working for the time
Yeah.
being.
Yeah. Because you're getting people actually commenting, I like your stuff, right?
Yes.
What are you hearing? What other than that?
So they say, I like my stuff. They find it very authentic.
Hmm.
I think I show up just as me. And so they find it very, it's like there's no, I'm not trying to, of course, I'm thinking about my image, but I'm not trying to make it, yes, I'm professional, but it's not
Hmm.
like dry or extremely
Yeah.
serious. I'm trying to add value, show up, not overthink it. And people tell me, one, that they see my stuff, that they love it. I actually got a speaking engagement also because people say it's so different from what is on there. And
Beautiful.
so people do comment, but even if they don't, the number of people who tell me, Caryn, I see your stuff and I love it
Hmm.
is actually very surprising.
Yeah. Which is so interesting because so many of us are looking at social and being like, I wish I had some, like, I wish I had some feedback. I wish someone would like something. And you're getting like active response and specific engagement. Like it's pretty impressive.
Yes. I think that one of the things, though, to keep in mind is I also engage,
Yeah.
meaning I don't just go on and post and leave. I comment, I reach out to people. I have found that it's become a lot more active than it
Hmm.
was.
Oh,
Number
definitely. Yeah.
number one. And number two, I did take a LinkedIn course, and a lot of people are lurkers on LinkedIn. So if you're actually showing up
Hmm.
and commenting, posting, giving your point of view, you're actually standing out because so many people don't dare do that.
Yeah.
And I do. So I think that's also one of the reasons why it stands out.
Yeah. I love that. So when we started working together, there was a niche. I think it was called the French Way,
Hmm.
WEIGH, right? And I don't know about any life coaches listening, but we all take a stop on the weight loss coaching train, right? Like I definitely had that time in the sun as well. Um, but now you're working, you've had basically in 6 months, you've had three niches.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I think is some people might be like, oh, that's a lot. But I think it's because of the amount that you go to work and you put things out there and like you did new podcast, new freebie, like you did everything and you're like, still not right, still not right. Now it's right. So tell us about the felt experience or the learning that you had going from something that you knew was an okay or acceptable niche to having one that feels like home to you.
So the reason I did weight loss, just for a little bit of context, is that health and wellness is important to me, and
Mm-hmm.
well-being, and work-life balance is one of my superpowers. So
Yeah.
I didn't just choose a niche also because you should. I definitely had an interest in it. But what I found is, one, I was missing topics that I'd worked on for 25 years. So I
Mm-hmm.
was missing that. And I felt that also, my weight loss niche was um, crowded. I didn't really have a point of difference, and it got to the point where it felt hard, or it felt
Mm-hmm.
labored. So as much as I had clients, I loved my clients, they saw results, it
Yeah.
just wasn't lighting me up. I wasn't having the energy that I usually have.
Yeah.
And so I was just really honest with myself. So I actually changed to weight loss for women in corporate for a
Mm-hmm.
very short time. And I was like, no, I'm like, okay, let's just start over. And so I went all in again on
Yeah.
something that really just felt aligned in my body. Like that's
Yeah.
when I knew, when I made that decision, that like something melted away. Uh,
Mm.
that was the
Listen.
feeling.
Yeah.
That was the feeling. It was almost like, now that I look back, it was, yes, I chose weight loss because I love health and wellness, but something about it felt forced.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think I was supposed to be doing it because everybody tells you that's where you earn money. Kind
Right.
of. That
Yeah.
was, and now that I look back, I'm like, and everybody said, oh, leadership coaches, there's 50 million. Maybe, but at least I'm showing up with, it's so much easier for me to add value now.
Well, and I think it's interesting. Okay, so there's the very full pool of weight loss coaches. There's a very full pool of leadership coaches. There's a less full pool of people who are really great at both of them. And the pool of one is the one where I feel so at home that people are coming to me and saying, man, you look so aligned. Man, I
Mm,
love your stuff. You're so like on it. I see you like that's a really important piece. Like this looks
mm.
like it's so easy for you. Like you can be in your skin in such a powerful way here. It's worth not ignoring.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think it, but it, the work for me though, when I look back, it took me a lot of work to, like, in my head, like I didn't feel legitimate as a leadership coach, which sounds crazy now that I say that, but
Right.
that I had left that world and I wanted to leave that world, but I missed it. So there was, I think, a lot of internal work also that I had to do and really admit that I missed it and I loved it, and it's okay to change.
Yeah. And and to be honest, like if I look at I help a lot of people really hone in on the right niche for them. And I think a part of it for myself too was I have to let myself walk away and then come back in a new way to something. And that having that struggle about the thing that comes easy or the thing that we really like. Um, I don't know if we all have to do that, but it seems like a lot of us do.
Mm.
Mhm.
Well, I think a lot of it also for me, it comes with experience. I got to the point where, like, I want to, of course, show up for my clients like with energy and passion, and just the topics didn't light me. I missed the corporate topics, is what was
Yeah.
happening. And I had corporate clients, a couple of them. And every time I got off, I was like, oh gosh,
Yeah.
and so I knew that, and it's being honest with yourself that,
Hmm.
what you
Yeah.
like and what you don't. But I think I had to go through that process of trying
Hmm.
something really different before coming back to like what is a perfect fit for me. It's like a
Yeah.
perfect fit, and people
Absolutely.
see it now.
Yeah. And you can feel it in your energy. You can just see it
Mhm.
in how you're playing with it.
Oh.
Yeah. And I think the reason that you in 6 months were able to get here, like you could say this was fast, but like I said, you went to work, you did all the things, you had the experience. And then one of the things that made me want to have you on the podcast was how you went after the interviews with your new potential market. So can you tell us the story of how all that worked?
Yes. So I had not really been on LinkedIn. So for 2 years, or we'll say 18 months, because I had left the corporate environment, and I'd left all that network behind. And when I decided to change my niche, I'm like, okay, I need some information. So I decided I was actually in market research before. And so I
Hmm.
decided to do market research, which is basically questioning people.
Which is
And
so good for all of us to do.
yeah, and and just so I went out and I found people that I knew that had either changed jobs recently or in the past, year or two, that could and wanted to talk about that experience. Or I asked around, do you know people who? And so I spoke to 20 different people who talked to me about changing jobs and talked to me about their feelings and their experience. And so that helped me fine tune also my offer and validate or go back on specific hypotheses that I had
Hmm.
made. So that was one element that I did were those market research interviews. And then the other one was simply networking.
Hmm.
And I hadn't thought about it. And I had a call with a past colleague that I absolutely love to work with. And she suggested it. Just start networking again. So I contacted over 100 people
Yeah.
over the course of, couple months, and set up probably 50 to 60, maybe 70 coffee chats without any like agenda. It was just
Yeah.
to kind of speak to them again, understand where they're coming from. And it helped me kind of just get back into that world of corporate.
Hmm.
And
I'm still
and
here.
I'm still here, to see what's happening, to ask people about questions about women in leadership. Generally,
Yeah.
we had that question, or wellness was kind of the other angle. And it's been amazing, like
Hmm.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about like, there are so many ways where we could get in our way with that strategy, but you really used it to light up your own life and your own business. So, what are you clear about now? Now that you've talked to, so if it was 60 or 70 coffee chats and it was 20 or so interviews, you've had probably 100 conversations.
Mm.
So, what are you clear on now that you've had that much contact with the people living the lives that you want to impact?
What am I clear on? First of all, people need help.
People need help. Yes.
People need help. Everybody has doubts
Yeah.
also.
No matter who
Um,
they are, whether they're CEOs, COOs, new managers, mid-level managers, everybody has doubts. All of us.
everybody has doubts. Um, the workplace is hard.
Yeah.
I think the environment is um, it's stressful, it's financially driven, there's a lot of overwhelm.
Mm-hmm.
But the other interesting thing is that something's happening in terms of leadership, which is really interesting, is that people are recognizing how much we need women in leadership. And yes, a lot
Okay.
has been done over the
Yeah.
past years, but not enough, or they you still need more people to talk about it, and
Are we at a
that
tipping point?
discussion's evolving. Tipping point, I don't know. Um,
But we've
but
gotten
there's
to the
still a
point where
necessity.
we're beyond the token female. We're to the point where we can feel the impact of when we have more women around, things are actually better.
We definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
Great.
And it's the only thing is I would say the biggest trend I've seen is that everybody's saying, let's not forget about the men,
Mm.
because women have been helping women and we've been
Mm-hmm.
vocal about helping women, but we need to also bring the men along. And so a lot of people are still like, oh, we can't forget the men. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that it's actually been a good reminder. So it's a little off
Yeah.
topic, but
But it's good. It's good to
uh,
hear.
mm,
Yeah.
so.
It makes me curious for people listening who have a woman in their lives who is in corporate and who is in a new role or soon to be in a new role or struggling with a big role. Like, who is your target person? What's the thing that someone would experience from one of their friends where they should say like, oh, you need to work with Caryn?
Um, so if somebody is, I would say, completely stressed because they're managing a bigger team is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
And time management. Those are kind of two signals. There's a relationship element that they don't know how to manage their boss, or they've got new stakeholders, and all of that is very stressful. And they fall back into habits of like doing everything themselves rather than delegating. So there's a examples around managing relationships in the workplace that
Mm-hmm.
becomes very stressful very quickly. And there's a whole time management thing also. Where do I
Okay.
spend my time? What are my
Yeah.
priorities? Completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So if people are saying, I'm overwhelmed, I'm completely stressed, if they're working nights and weekends, you know, they don't have to do that, because there a lot of women feel they have to prove themselves. And so they overwork.
Right.
So
Right. And
those are
get
some
more overwhelmed.
signs. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Good to know. So if you're listening and you have a friend who needs help, those are the signs. And they do need help. Like, and it's okay to get help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Important even. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm one of the things we've talked about is the necessary, I guess you would call it sloughing off of other people's rules in order to get to this clear, energized place in your business. So I'd love to just hear a little bit about how you danced with doing it the way you thought you should versus doing it your way.
Mm.
Because this is, of course, my favorite playground to play in.
Yeah, it's such a good question because I mean, I've been in business 25 years, but still when you come into a new industry of coaching,
Mm-hmm.
um I think there's been some very big voices in coaching that says, you have to do it this way. You
Right.
have to do one-on-one, or you have to do um I don't know, there was just rules that um I tried to follow, And I think some of them are okay to experiment,
Hmm.
but for me, it's testing things, and if it doesn't work, it's not making it mean anything about
Right.
you.
Yeah.
And it's just listening. And I think that's what's been so great about working with you is number one, and I think that this is really important, is you always focused on relationship
Hmm.
basis, like build relationships, like people buy from people. And that was probably one of the biggest things that took me a while to really understand that because we're in such a tech
Hmm.
world and it's so digital that we think I have to be doing Facebook ads or I have to
Right.
be have a funnel or several funnels. And so I think that was a big thing. And then the other thing was everybody says one offer, one offer, one offer. I honestly offer what I feel like offering when I
Hmm.
talk to somebody.
Yep.
When I listen to what their needs are, yes, I have an overall structure of what I think, is best, but they might not need all of that. So it was also giving myself permission to adapt to the client I had in front of me, whether it be my prices, whether it be my offer. And that was, I think, one of the biggest rules that I had to learn to break was like
Yeah.
not forcing constantly my offer on somebody.
Hmm. Yeah. So there's bravery required.
Yes.
Hmm. But also, like, I love what you're highlighting is you are relational. There is another person in the room. There is a person in potentially a different country, a different time zone, the different situation, and a different kind of company structure. Like, I will be the first business coach to tell you it's okay to have a different offer that you sell every time you have a consult call. If
Mm.
you can manage that and if that is what makes life work for you. Right. So I think what we have this beautiful benefit of is we do individual work.
Yeah.
We don't have to sell a product because people aren't products and we can customize. And I think that creates, for me, it creates a lot of energy to be able to be like, I get to know this person. I throw out every rule and create exactly what they need every
Yeah.
time as well.
No,
Yeah.
it really helped. It really helped me um like be able to focus on the person and really what they need. Um and to just give myself permission to do that. It was just very liberating and not having to absolutely have to propose the one thing that I have. I mean,
Mhm.
but I had to try it out first also. And I
Yep.
think that that's something we also discussed. You have to try things. And I try
Yep.
things. I'm a major action taker. It's something we've spoken about. You have to try. And
Yep. And the
that's why
faster we try, the faster we learn what works and what doesn't work.
yeah, and I don't take anything personally. If it doesn't work, I'm like, okay, that didn't work
Hmm.
and don't make it mean anything. And I just try something else.
Yeah. I want to just
So
highlight what you just said for everyone listening. I don't make it mean anything and I try something else. Like that's a pretty incredible skill to have. And it's a skill that we can develop. Maybe you weren't born that way, maybe you were, but that's important. It's like this isn't personal. This is other people's lives, other people getting what they want, and us consistently, like I think about like lobbing the ball and being like, nope, they didn't catch that one. And then like I'm gonna make a new ball and I'm gonna lob that one over. And sometimes they catch it. And then it's amazing and we get to work with them.
yes. And I think what has helped also is that every time I lob a ball, I'm thinking I'm planting seeds
100%.
and that the universe is going to give back. I don't know
Mhm.
how, I don't know when,
Yeah.
but um, you know, like recently I've been asked to I had somebody propose 3 different speaking engagements
At the same
like
time.
out of the
Yeah.
blue at the same time. And I'd never seen that coming. I'd never, proposed it. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think that's just coming from planting seeds. And
Yeah.
so, um, yeah, would I like business to be more predictable? Yes.
Yeah.
Currently, it is not. Maybe we'll have a different conversation in a year, but
We will.
you
We
know,
absolutely will.
yeah.
Because
So,
that's the thing. If now you're in this niche, you've been here for a couple months, you're planting seeds. 3 years from now, the seeds are still growing plants,
mm,
right? And you right now you have maybe 3 months of history of being this kind of a gardener. But 3 years from now, imagine what that will do. Like look at what 3 months has done. Imagine what 3 years can do.
mm,
Because those things don't go away. Your impact on people doesn't go away. When we work with a client, which I think is one of the greatest marketing tools we have, is we do great work with a human being and then they know how to refer us to the right people.
yeah.
And every single year that we're in business, we have more of those referral partners running around in the world. Yeah.
No, I definitely agree. Um, and I think what's helped also is my message is consistent. And so I've
Yeah.
had consistent messaging also and a
Mm-hmm.
point of view. It's like that was one of the things like I told myself for so long, I don't have a point of view. I don't have an opinion. And then I actually just was consistent in my messaging. And so now people totally resonate with
Mm-hmm.
and contact me for that. And I
Yeah.
think that those are also the seeds that I planted for. And it hasn't been that long and people now know um or they're starting to at least. Um so yeah, it's been a beautiful um few months. It's been great working with you also because I think that you gave me permission. You created that space to also question um where I didn't feel pressured also that I had to fit into a mold or fit into, a
Yeah.
formula. Um and I think that that has helped because there's been like no pressure. So also thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you for coming and playing.
Yeah,
I'm
no, it's been
curious
great.
for coaches who are listening, with the clarity that you've created for yourself, what are 3 to 5 things you would say? I would just really recommend people do something like this.
Ooh, that is a great question.
Even one thing, if there's only one that comes to mind.
Um, I think the biggest thing is you need to take action.
Amen. I think you're
Honestly,
right. You have to go to
um,
work to see what's going to work.
you have to go to work and so I think that that is one thing. I would also say um I've reached out. I don't make any assumptions. So those, 60 or 70 people, those 100 people that I reached out to, some of them I hadn't spoken to in 20 years.
Yeah. Good
And
for you.
and they still said immediately yes to a call. They introduced me to somebody. So I never ever make an assumption about I'll just tell you this one story.
Yeah.
So briefly, I was kind of scared to contact this woman. She has this very big job, but I had worked with her maybe 15, 20 years ago, hadn't contacted her since. So I sent her an email. I knew that she'd just changed a job. And she's like, um, and she didn't answer me. Okay. It was completely fine. No big deal. But what I didn't know is that she had actually talked to other people about me, and other people came into my world and said, "Oh, Christine, I'm contacting you because actually Christine recommended that we have a discussion." And
So
so
she's out there referring you, having not even talked to you.
we haven't even talked. So
Beautiful.
I'm never make an assumption.
Mm-hmm.
Even if somebody contacts me, like somebody contacted me, I'd worked with her for 2 or 3 months back in 2016, 17. And since she's become a paid client.
Hmm.
She wasn't even on my radar. Like, I'd
Yeah.
forgotten about her because we'd only briefly worked together. So never assume anything. I just never put think what people could be thinking or not thinking because you actually have no idea.
You really don't. That's such a good reminder. I also, what it reminds me of too is sometimes people get into business, they come out of corporate, they get into business and they think I'm starting from scratch. Or we go from one niche to a new niche. Oh, I'm starting all over again. There is no, unless you are a brand new baby, there is no such thing as starting from scratch. Like I remember when I was a weight loss coach, one of my like fellow classmates came in, purchased weight loss coaching, right? One of my people from my volleyball team came and purchased weight loss coaching. You just like your entire life, you are connecting with people, creating relationship, building trust inside of those relationships that will make it easy for people to know, like, and trust you, refer you, and hire you. And there's no scratch. It's all related, it's all connected.
It is. And I think that, so it's funny, but I'm a major introvert, but having those
I would
one-on-one
never have guessed that.
conversations, I know nobody says that, but it's like true. But having one-on-one conversations with like people that I worked with that I had, built some kind of emotional bond with at some point in
Mhm.
time, um, it has been so much fun. And my coaching skills help you so much to listen now
Yeah.
also. So I've also developed those listening skills. I've developed interviewing skills. Like there's
Hmm.
so many benefits of doing those coffee chats that
Oh
I
yeah.
never experienced. Um, that it's just insane. And
Hmm.
so yeah,
You've
never
created
assume.
insane results.
I would like them to be even bigger because I am ambitious and I've still got 10 years
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
to work, but it's
You're on the way.
yeah, it's been fun. And I yeah, just out of the blue, um I got asked this week to speak at a really big in-person event. Um
And you love
it's
speaking, right? Like this is it's a
yeah.
natural fit for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Amazing.
And so I've started pitching also
Hmm.
places so it's just like I think that is probably maybe to come back to your 3 to 5 points. You don't know what your business is going to look like.
You do not know. Nobody
You,
knows. I don't know as your coach, but I do know I can see you and I'll keep like saying, here's what I see. Here's what I see.
mm,
Yeah. Cause you all leave clues.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's like it ends up, you have no idea
Hmm.
what that end result is going to be, is going to look like. Um, and so I think that I've also learned to love the journey.
Yeah.
And that helps also. Like, I get up, I work, I love working. It's no issue for me. And because it's fun and I'm having fun and meeting people is fun. And so I've just picked things that I like doing also,
Yes. It's a really
and
good.
letting go, yeah, things that I don't like.
Yeah. And every single, like, you had the podcast, The French Way, and it taught you how to podcast. So when you did your interim podcast, it was fast and you got it done. And now that you have your quote unquote right podcast for you, you're just like, just sailing with it. Right. So, like, there's nothing lost, everything comes with you. Yeah. Way to make a lot of lemonade
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's been great. And yeah, and I would say I have, and this is a plug for you because working with you has been absolutely amazing. I've worked with several business coaches since the beginning, and um, I just really clicked. So for people who are listening with your style, that is so there's no one size fits all. There's no pressure. The questions are always excellent. There's like so much space that is being held. And that just helped. It's what I needed
Hmm.
I
To
think
refine.
also to refine and kind of go through this process. And you gave me space and as I was kind of on this self-discovery journey also.
Yeah.
So I can never thank you enough also for that.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. It's
Mhm.
pretty, I mean, I think it's a pretty amazing time of life to be in that birthing of the business that fits.
Yeah.
Like it's an honor for me, for sure.
No, I love coaching. I think this world needs coaching,
Yep.
and I just think we just need to get out of our way sooner. That's the
Yeah.
only regret that I
Yeah.
have is being
Yeah.
scared and not doing this sooner but you can't have regrets. That's part of the process. And
Yeah.
um
We can love that version of you for being afraid. Like it was a big deal what she did, what she got over, and where you are now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. Well, thank you for
yes.
sharing like all these different points along the way. I think there's a lot for everyone listening to take away in terms of like what you could do. Just take action. Make sure you stay connected to your network. Every business is a relationship based business. Pay attention to what makes you come alive. It matters. So thank you for being a good teacher here today.
Oh, no, you're welcome. And I think you just summarized it perfectly.
Good.
Perfectly. So,
Yeah.
no, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Can we just talk about how great that was? Caryn, that was such a good interview. I so appreciate when people are willing to share what it actually took and how many pivots we actually make. I don't know anyone, actually, that's true. I know people who have come out of professional um, industries and like just moved right into coaching those people and they just seamlessly blow through it and they're like good with their market and they're off and running. But a lot of us come out and we don't know exactly who we're here to help, or we do and we're not ready yet. And we want to go learn some stuff and we want to practice and we want to like get really clear slowly. It's okay. And happens to the best of us, right? I don't even know how many niches I've had. Let's just be clear. But the thing that I really hope that you appreciate about everything that Caryn shared is the woman went to work. She was not waiting for the world to make her business work. She was not waiting for a magical thing to happen. She was deciding what she was going to do, and she was doing it again and again and again and again. And every time she got the learning because she was able to stay emotionally unhooked from whether what she did was good or bad and made her right or wrong or good or bad. She got the learning. She took it on, made new choices, did something else. The faster you can do that, when I say that business happens at the speed of your decision making, this is what I mean. If you can decide to stop one experiment, learn from it, start a new one, learn from it, make it better, learn from it, shift it a little bit, keep going. Like, this is what I mean. We are the only ones who will do that in our businesses. No one else is going to tell us that. You can go pay business coaches to tell you to try different things, to tell you to do what they think is right. But ultimately, it comes down to you making it work and you trying things and you putting in the reps. And I think her story just shows that so beautifully. And, to get to be someone who is supporting someone through that kind of a change process, through that kind of a clarifying and refining process is amazing. And when you get there, I want you to do that work with someone who will give you the space to do it in your way so that you don't get to the end and have to change it and recover from it. Caryn isn't going to have to take this business 3 years from now and chop it down and go through a 6 month long recovery program because she built the wrong thing. She's just going to keep evolving because she's developed that skill of growth, change, learn, do differently, experiment. And we all have the capability to do that. It's a skill, you can learn it. But if we keep seeking out cookie cutters and experts who tell us what to do, and we keep following rules that other people have made up for themselves that are well meaning, that they made because it really worked for them and they want your business to work for you, but they're telling you you should do things a certain way because they're trying to create the safety they created for themselves for you, it's not going to work unless you're just like them. In that case, it'll probably work great. But most of us aren't just like people. Caryn and I aren't alike, except for we're willing to experiment and go and try and see and pay attention to what things feel like in our bodies and what wants to happen. So that's what I want for you. I want your business to work. I want it to work in the way that it will support and serve you and your people in ways that delight you, that energize you. We can have this if we allow ourselves to have it. And if you need support to have that allowing, if you need what she said, the permission, I am here to hold that space for you. Okay. And I'll be your coach. You can come find me. Okay. Thanks, Caryn, for being here. Beautiful episode. And if you do have one of those leadership women in your circle who is overwhelmed, who's having trouble managing up and managing down, please have them reach out to Caryn so she can get them some support. All right. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for being here. And feel free to share this episode with a friend. It's a good one.